Welcome back to the Climate Realism video series. Lately, we've been talking about the biggest hypocrites in climate change. Obviously, we started with John Kerry, who's gallivanting around the globe on private jets while telling us that we need to ramp up even past the Paris Climate Accords. Today, we're talking about Bill Gates. Now, Bill Gates is a global icon, obviously, for forming Microsoft, but lately he's been in the news for climate change. But the thing is, some liberals and some progressives aren't buying what he's selling, and neither am I. So here's what's interesting. The Nation, a very liberal magazine, which on its own website says it's a source of progressive news, has come out with an article titled, Bill Gates, Climate Warrior and Super Emitter. Here's what they have to say. So what this article says is essentially that Bill Gates is all talk and no action when it comes to climate change. He may say things like we need to change what we're doing and we gotta prevent a global catastrophe, but then his actions state that he doesn't seem to really care. Now here's some of the highlights. Bill Gates is the largest farmland owner in the United States. I actually didn't know that. That surprised me. He has 242,000 acres of land. Just for comparison's sake, that's bigger than the entire country of Singapore. Now, obviously, this agricultural land is a large source of carbon emissions, something that I don't think is a huge deal, but he does. Now, if it's such an issue, shouldn't he not own 242,000 acres of farmland? Or does it just not matter? Bill Gates owns a 66,000 square foot mansion outside of Seattle. Now, I'm going to say that the carbon footprint from this mansion is way larger than the average American's condo or apartment or house. So Bill Gates should maybe, downsize a little bit if he cares that much about carbon emissions. To the surprise of no one, Bill Gates owns a private jet, the Bombardier BD-700 Global Express. And this behemoth of a jet burns through 486 gallons of jet fuel per hour of flight. Now what's interesting is its use. In 2019, a study was conducted that looked at some of the 10 biggest celebrities in terms of how much they fly on private jets. They looked at Oprah Winfrey, they looked at Jennifer Lopez, they looked at Bill Gates, and they found that Bill Gates was the #1 flyer of these 10 celebrities. So he's out there flying a jet that consumes 486 gallons of jet fuel per hour of flight across the globe more than anyone. That doesn't really speak like you're that concerned about a climate catastrophe. In 2015, Bill Gates started a multi-billion-dollar venture capital fund titled Breakthrough Energy, and he recruited a who's list of global billionaires, including Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, Michael Bloomberg, Jack Ma, Mukesh Ambani, and others. Now what's interesting is when you actually look at what this company, or this venture capital fund, is funding. I went into it a little bit and I found that they're funding a company called BioMilk, a company that's apparently interested in creating lab-grown breast milk. Now, I don't know what that has to do with climate change, but it's a little weird that this climate breakthrough company is focusing on breast milk. It's just strange. The Nation article actually got a hold of Bill Gates' foundation's tax filings, and here's what they found. In 2019, Bill Gates put millions of dollars in companies like Exxon, Chevron, and Japan Petroleum Exploration, and billions more in fossil fuel dependent industries like airlines, heavy machinery, and automobiles. So he's putting millions and billions of dollars in industries that apparently he states are some of the biggest emitters of carbon dioxide, yet he's putting massive amounts of money in them for personal financial growth. Now, I don't blame him. He should do what he wants to do with his money, and again, I don't think carbon dioxide emissions are the biggest problem in the world, but he does. So it's extremely hypocritical, the amount of money that he's putting in these companies while going around touting a book saying that climate change is some global crisis. Bill Gates will constantly make headlines for climate change. But I ask you, do you really think he's that concerned with it? If he's out here funding companies that are some of the biggest emitters of carbon dioxide, which again, I don't think is a huge issue, but he does, I think he's more concerned with his personal finances. So let's add Bill Gates to our list of some of the biggest climate hypocrites out there. John Kerry, you've been knocked down a notch. Bill Gates, you're #1. This is Andy Singer with Climate Realism. I hope you enjoyed this video. Catch you next time.